So let me tell you what has happened to this fourth painting, which is whoever this old man is profoundly lucky to be in that stage. This young kid one day knocks on Socrates' door some 3, 4, 5, 6, 10,000 years ago. And Socrates opens the door and this young man asks, "So Socrates, every single day you go to the classroom, you go to the market and you talk. You ramble about this and you ramble on about that. Why the hell do you talk so much? What is it that you do?" "I do philosophy." "What is the function of philosophy? Is it just to help us think? What is it? For us to become great orators so we can give great sermons, talk well?" "No," says Socrates. "So what is it that you want us to do?" "I talk to you," Socrates says, "for one reason." "What is that?" "So you can live well." But not because just to live well. Because at the end of every life awaits old age. And old age brings about sickness. My father-in-law, who passed a couple years ago at cancer, he was on his deathbed, moaning and groaning every single day. He refused to die. And so, to kind of just give him a change of scenery, we put him on the wheelchair and we took him around the lake. When we came back, he started screaming. And he pushed all of us out. Only a few days later, when he calmed, he said, "For 70 years, I was able to walk, to run, to jog, to eat, to do all sorts of things. Now I'm just laying in my bed. I can't even move, clean myself, take a bath. I can't do anything. And you take me out. And I see people who are able and waste their abilities. Things I want to do, but I no longer can. You thought that you would give me a scenery that would be positive. It turned my life upside down. I realized all the opportunities life gave me, but I missed. The only way that you can die well, like this old man in this fourth painting, is to live well. But you see, life is like the second painting. It's a winding road. Nothing is clear. We don't receive advice well. We don't receive wisdom well. And so you find yourself in a place where you look back and all you have is regrets. You have moments of sunshine, happiness. You said hello to your son, hello to your daughter. You were nice to your wife. But those qualities are becoming more and more rare as the days go by. Technology, capitalism, isolation, depression, divorce, abandonment, trauma, depression, you name it. But you won't know any of this stuff because most of you are still in the second painting. And then there are a couple of angels coming down from the sky to take the soul of this old man. He is ready to die. And he dies well. He dies well because he's gone back to his childhood. He understands what it means to be an infant and to be happy and to be innocent, to be stupid. He understands what it means to be young and arrogant and hubris. He understands finally that he has no power over life. He can do the best he can. In the Greek world, there is this god that they believe in goddess. Her name is Fortuna. You know, the Greeks were very lucky people. They didn't have a Jordan Peterson. They didn't have an Eckhart Tolle. They didn't have a Tony Robbins. What the Greeks knew that you and I don't is the following. You wake up in the morning and you can make all sorts of plans and you can think all sorts of things about yourself. But should the goddess Fortuna look down, and should she be in a strange mood, and should she desire to crap all over you on that particular day, that's your fate. You don't complain. You say, God gives, and God taketh away. I woke up at 6 in a great mood, 6:15. It seems the gods have a different plan. Now you're in a crappy mood. And you say, oh God, how am I going to live out this day? 6:45, you're in a great mood. So the Greeks say, we're going to wing it. We'll do the best we can. They are the Taoists, you see. I will go where life takes me. I will make plans, but should those plans not pan out, I will do the best I can to deal with problems healthily, maturely. So, having given you basically a very brief but coherent and relatively comprehensive map of life, what all of us have gone through, are going through, and will go through, let me now wrestle with the question of what happens when you have a father or a mother or perhaps both parents who are missing in your life. Instead of talking about this particular issue directly, I'm going to approach it indirectly. When I look at a classroom of 30 or 40 people, inasmuch as your history matters in the way of learning and being able to receive and being able to trust and faith and love and all that stuff, I'm going to tell you what makes my job easier and what makes my job really, really difficult. And maybe I should do it a different way. I'll tell you a story about two of my very, very good friends. I have no doubt that should they see me, they'll run the other way. But if I see them, I'll run towards them. I'm going to borrow from history and summon up two people. I don't know if they were real. Some people say they are. Some people say they're not. The older man, his name is Socrates. The person he runs into is Plato. There are stories that Plato was the son of Apollo, the sun god. And if you take the story metaphorically, it may be true. Plato is the master of illumination. He has wisdom. He's like the Jesus Christ of the Greek world. Imagine you were 5 and you cried and you told your mom you want food, or your father. Father said, okay. He gave you some food, you ate it. 10 minutes later, you begin to vomit. You go to your dad and say, Dad, what was that? Just made you some fried eggs. Okay. You forget the episode. 2 days later, again, you're hungry. You say, Dad, can you make me something? You spend half hour in the kitchen, brings your food. After having eaten it, you have a headache, and then you throw up. You say, Dad, the hell is this? You wait for your mom to come home so she can make you some food. Your mom doesn't come home for weeks. The only person you have is your father. Dad, can you make me some food that does not make me sick? Please. Okay. He goes in the kitchen. You eat it. You throw up, you have a headache, and you're in bed for the next month and a half. Days pass, you find yourself hungry. Your dad is right there, but you no longer ask him. You no longer trust your father's cooking. And then you turn to be 15, 16, 20, 30. And then you raise your hand and you say, I have a dish, I have a plate, it's blank, but can you put something on it? But what's on the dish? What happens if you don't have a father? I'm hungry for the answer. Can you give me the answer, please? You're no longer talking about food for the belly, but food for the psychology, food for the emotions, food for the intellect. But here is the dilemma. For 10 straight years, whenever anybody gives you food, you throw up. You don't trust anybody's cooking. Now, let's say I have a great answer as to what happens when you have a parent missing. You're not going to find my answers useful because the foundation is cracked. And the foundation being, it doesn't matter who gives you anything. You don't trust them. You don't have faith in what they say. It's like music. It sounds good to your ears, but so what? And should the answer sound really, really good, and you be inspired to knock on the person's door and say, can you give me more? You'll get to a place where you say, I'm beginning to like this man and all the things that he says. I liked my father some 10 years ago, but he made me sick on a daily basis. When I get to like someone, I become emotionally attached to them. And then, like my father, they will disappoint me. So you know what? I will go, I will ask, I will receive, I will not like. And certainly I will never trust. And And most definitely, I will never have faith. It matters very little what happened to the past. What matters is now, which is the following. You raise your hand and you say, any of you, it's not about anyone specific, I'm hungry. This is my question. Can you help me? I can help you. But for that to happen, for me to be helpful to you, you have to see things through my eyes. The dilemma is the following. You're 20, I'm 60. You want to drag me to your life. You want to take me when you were 5, and then 10, and then 15 and 20. I'm too old. Why don't I do this? Instead of me coming into your world, so that you could give me a Jerry Springer show or Oprah Winfrey show, I am going to pull you up. How will I pull you up? Text me, email me, come to my office. Sit there even if I'm not there. Come to my house. Little by little you grow to like me. Then you will trust me. You still won't understand my world, and you don't need to, it's far too early. I'm not going to give you the answer to your question, but I'll give you something more important that will help you get to the answer yourself. I will be a replacement of your father. Something you never had. And you think it's difficult for you. I got 5 kids. I'm busy, I'm old, I'm sick. I have to give you all of my time so I can glue a cracked past so that you could continue this journey on your own to figure out the answers for yourself. Your job is easy. All you got to do is come to my house. My job is difficult. The time I want to give to my kids, I have to give to you. The time I want to give to my wife, I have to give to you. The time I have to give to my writings, I have to give to you. And just in case you call and say, I want to come over, I say, not today, I'm really, really tired. I knew he would disappoint me. And then you won't call. And then you wait for me, a 60-year-old man, to call you, to beg you. And you know why I would call you? Because I have invested my time, my hope, my energy into you. And I don't want to see it to go to waste. And if I call and I hear coldness in your voice, I will hang up the phone. And I will drop you from the class. Now, why do you need to see things through my eyes? How do you get over pain? I'll tell you a story that I shared with my class yesterday. It's about a man who worked with this other man, and that man worked with a group of people. There was a kid that was born in Armenia. His father loved him, but he wanted to like him. You know, I love my daughter, and I would like her to play the piano. But when she doesn't play the piano, I will continue to love her. I just won't like her. Parents have to, unfortunately, wait for a long time to like their kids. And for that to happen, kids must reach some maturity, some stability, so that parents can look and say, wow, it didn't turn out to be too bad. The man I'm speaking of, his name is Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff was a very difficult teacher to work with. He didn't want his time to be wasted. He always went for the jugular. He made things very difficult for anyone who wanted to follow him. And his philosophy is very simple. Whenever you get anything cheaply, you will never appreciate it. You will never understand it. You will never get wisdom from it. You must always pay. If you don't have money, you have history. If you're in the habit of always raising your hand, asking questions, how do you pay? Keep your hand down. And in keeping your hand down, you have to go through this conflict. I have this question. I want to ask it, but I will sacrifice. I will pay by keeping my mouth shut. And in that conflict, the yes and the no, something about you will mature. You will grow to restrain yourself, to hold yourself. Not like a 2-year-old kid that every time his desires is not fulfilled, he screams and shouts and goes away angrily. Gurdjieff had a student. His name was J.G. Bennett. Bennett was this greedy, this man who was never content. He's a student of Gurdjieff, then he becomes a student of Ouspensky, then he goes to India, then he goes to the Middle East. And then he says, some forms of greed are really good. Be greedy for wisdom. Always be curious. Always know that there is more out there to learn. He was married 8 times. Not because he was a womanizer. Not because he enjoyed sex. He married 8 times because he understood the anatomy, the reasons as to why people get together. Why do I want to get married? I do understand that relationships come with a good amount of hope and dreams initially. I understand those hopes and dreams and realize how fallacious they are, how infantile they are. You don't want to be alone. There is no shame in admitting that. Human beings are born alone. You don't want to go through life alone. You look for someone in whom you can see your own reflection. You want someone who looks like you, smells like you, tastes like you. Should you be with someone who is very different from you? It's like driving a car whose engine just breaks down every goddamn minute. You want to wait for a tow truck every 10 minutes? And life is a barren land. When his seventh wife died, a week later he was married to his eighth. I want to go home. I want to have someone there, breathing, quacking. I want this woman to massage my neck, to cook for me, to clean for me, to read my books, edit them for me. And I don't want to die alone. But for you to get to where J.G. Bennett was, you need to figure out something very, very important about yourself. You and I are consumers of life. And you know what it means to consume? The only person who's most important is you. Use people in the right way. Use them while respecting them. Exploit them in the right way. If you have someone coming to your house and doing some work, make them food. Give them coffee. Give them clothes that you don't want. For those of you who are stuck because you've had an experience from long ago, J.G. Bennett's Gurdjieff, their philosophy simplifies all of this. Nothing is simple, of course, when it comes to human beings, but do some self-reflection and examination. Figure out why you got involved in something. Figure out why people got you involved. Become like Narcia or Narcissus. And if you don't know the story, it's very, very, very simple. It's about this young person who's desperately looking for his or her own image. They want to see what they look like. So what do? You look for a pool of water or a mirror. Mirrors didn't exist then, so a pool of water. But you can look at a clear reflection of your face. If the waters are chaotic, if it contains a good amount of waves, it will always deceive you. You may have a small nose, but because the water is not calm, it may reveal that you have a huge nose. And then you're going to feel bad about yourself. So you know what Narcia did? He or she journeyed for 1,000 years to find a pool of water that has no wrinkles in it. Only in calm water can you see a good, clear reflection of yourself. If you are depressed, stay with it. Once calmness comes to you, you will be able to see things profoundly clearly. You can't do it while you're agitated. Let me give you 2 examples and then we'll go home. Mike Tyson, James Baldwin. Mike Tyson is an angry man because he has had an angry childhood. Go to Mike Tyson and call him the N-word. He will beat the crap out of you. And you will deserve it. Not right now. Perhaps right now he's much more tolerant. But go to James Baldwin and then call him the N-word. And you know what James Baldwin will tell you? He will look at you and say, I wonder why you're so sick mentally. You know his name is James. Just call him James. So instead of him being consumed by anger, agitation, he looks at you and says, you're sick. And I'm going to do you a favor. Let's go to Pete's. We'll walk together. We don't have to talk. I'll buy you mocha. Tell me what your sickness is that you so desire to call me the N-word. And maybe in the conversation, I can heal you. You will never be able to see anything clearly if you have a good amount of chaos within. Impossible. All the heroes that we'll talk about in this class and you will admire in the duration of your life, whether it's Malcolm X or Mahatma Gandhi or Jesus Christ or Muhammad, do you know why we like these people? They went through chaos. They allowed dust to settle. They began to see things clearly. And then they came out and they told us who we are and what life is all about and what we need to do with chaos. These people are who we call the immortals of humanity. Socrates, 3,000 years ago, we still talk about him. No one has come about that's equal to Socrates in the past 3,000 years. The Buddha, no one has come about. What you need to know, these people are rare. And they are rare for a reason. Like the rest of us, they suffered chaos. But they allowed themselves to rest in the chaos until the dust settled. And then they slowly began to see. For those of you who have enjoyed our conversations the past maybe few weeks or so, I have about, 1,000 or two audio talks, audio lectures. It's not of me, it's other people. It's about existentialism. It's about the Dalai Lama, the New Testament, the Old Testament. If any of you are interested, send me an email. I will send you my cell number for a one-time use only. You download Telegram on your phone, okay? And then I will send you 1,000 hours of audios. You don't need to like them now, but keep them. They will come in handy later on in life. Yeah?
Why can't you send us on email?
They're too large. And it takes too much time for me. And you're not worth that much for me to spend like 5 hours. Telegram takes 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Shanti. I'm sorry? I can't.
My sister died looking at a reflection of the ground falling.
You know, if the snake, if the snake does not shed her skin, it'll suffocate and die. If you want to be reborn into wisdom, you have to die to being a human being filled with assumptions. One of them needs to die and the other needs to survive. It's either you and your assumptions, or you go away and you seek wisdom. Narcia must die to the assumptions in order to live in clarity. Yeah, Thomas.
So like you have a lot of chaos inside you.
Another what?
Chaos.
Chaos?
Yeah.
Who?
For example.
Sure.
And then
First of all, chaos is a Greek god, and chaos has two children. One is called darkness. The other is called confusion. These are the two little babies of chaos. Okay? Darkness is feminine, confusion is masculine. So you have a brother and a sister. One day chaos goes to Pete's to grab herself an Americana. Okay? Confusion looks at darkness and says, oh, you look really good tonight. And darkness says, yeah, you too, buddy. They get together. They have a child. His name is Light. But you have to live through the darkness, and you have to be okay with the confusion for a long, long, long time, until wisdom all of a sudden appears. It can't be done any other way.
Also, so like chaos, like you need to die, or like a part of yourself needs to die so you can heal it.
Sure. Yeah.
We're siblings and had a kid.
I'm sorry?
Maybe we're siblings and had a kid.
You make it sound so strange. You know, you have to consider something that Freud had said. Why do we have taboos? We have taboos because it's been a common practice. All of a sudden, society comes to a place where he says, no, we don't want to do this anymore. Go back to China, about 5,000 years ago, a community called Na, N-G-A. The only way that community survived for hundreds of years by brothers and sisters having sex together. It sounds strange to us now. It would be strange some 3,000 years ago for you to go around and make fun of Zeus. You'd probably die. But right now, Zeus is nothing. In about maybe 2,000 to 3,000 years, you can go around and make fun of Jesus, and people say, fine. You have taboos only because they were common practice. When we come back next week, whenever, we'll talk about whatever. Stay healthy. Tell your parents I said hello.